So we finally got our hands on the intro cutscene to the Tortured Path, and I gotta say this right away because I'm not exactly sure about it, because this could be our only intro cutscene to the Tortured Path, or we might have multiple of them, and that's because we have different chapters in the Tortured Path, which is really weird to say the very least. So we may be seeing more, we may be not, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe instead of intro cutscenes, you're going to have ending cutscenes for every chapter. That's going to work as both an ending cutscene for that chapter and the intro for the next one, which we're going to have to wait and see exactly how that's going to work out. We're not entirely sure right now because I'm really uploading this right before it actually came out, and I should actually mention this right away that this, I guess, footage really isn't mine. It's actually from Mr. Dalek, and if you guys didn't know, there's a whole thing that if you were outside of North America, you could actually play the map early, which was really weird, and I mean, whatever, I guess I got left out there. So regardless, the point is that this is from Mr. Dalek JD, so all credit to him, and I'll link him down in the description if you guys want to check out his video on this. But I'm going to be trying to explain this to the best of my abilities, but there's a lot of things inside of this that I want to talk about and really point out, especially one towards the end, because it really did catch my eye. But anyways, with that said, let's actually jump into this video. So the first thing I want to do is just play you guys the intro all the way through, because it's a shorter one and I just want for you guys to see if you guys haven't.
Nobody saw this coming. The horror of this new military force, a force composed entirely of the dead, is torn across the face of Europe. It has fallen on us, the newly formed Bureau of Archaic Technologies, to be the tip of the spear in this fight. We are woefully outnumbered. We cannot match this enemy blow for blow. But with the help of our new allies, we will strike where they are most vulnerable. We will be smart. We will be fast. We will be lethal. But we must do more than simply kill our enemies. We must utterly destroy them.
So I want to mention this right away because this is, I guess, interesting to say the very least, because you hear this voice talking over and it's kind of just explaining exactly what's going on here. And the interesting thing about this voice is that it is the exact same voice that we heard inside the trailer that we got earlier today, and that voice was kind of more of, I would say, recruiting. So it is interesting to see that they went from a recruiting voice to explaining. So maybe you are now someone who's been recruited, or at least that's what they're going for, and now he's explaining exactly what's going on and just pretty much everything that's going on. Now, it's nothing of importance, but it is worth pointing out. But the next thing I want to talk about is the very first image we get throughout this entire intro cutscene, and we see this picture here. It's in black and white, and obviously there's a lot of zombies. Now, I'm not exactly sure where this is. I've been told it's Berlin, or at least somewhere in Germany, which I imagine is the case, but I'm just not sure. I just don't recognize anything in the background. If there probably is something I'm entirely missing, and you guys can tell me exactly where this place is down in the comments. I almost said description, but regardless, it is I mean, it's somewhere that's been overrun by zombies. And the main thing to point out here is just looking at the amount of zombies. Now, given, of course, there has to be a lot of zombies. We're dealing with the zombies mode, but you have to remember the zombies in this zombie storyline are not just there. They are not through some infection or some supernatural stuff like the other ones. This one is actually made handmade. Each one of these zombies is handmade by Dr. Schraub or somebody working with him. So this, I guess, shows you how many zombies they actually made. It's kind of weird that they were all German soldiers, which, I mean, I will admit is strange, but regardless, it's just like, man, that's a lot of zombies. That is a lot of zombies. But anyways, continuing a little further on down, there's another image that we get is also black and white. And as you guys can see, there's a zombies attack in London. Of course, this is something I find quite interesting because, as you guys know, ever since the Reisendrache, Treyarch has been teasing at a zombies London map, or just zombies in London at the very least. But it looks like they're doing somewhat of the same thing. I don't think we're actually going to get a London map. map anytime soon from anybody really, but it is interesting to see that they're also doing something similar to Treyarch. Now, one thing that is also interesting about this image is that we see what looks like to be a Panzer Mortar standing right there. So that does confirm that at least there was more than one Panzer Mortar inside, well, I guess that Dr. Straub actually created. But then from there, you actually hear a little bit more about the BAT agency, and actually they give us the actual name of what the BAT stands for, because it's an acronym, so it does actually stand for something. And it actually stands for Bureau, I can't say it for the life of me, Bureau of Archaic Technology. And that is just good to hear exactly what the heck this stands for, because this is something that we've heard in the past. We heard about the BAT agent and the BAT elite agent, of course, which is Redu. So it is something that it's nice to see and hear just exactly what's going on there and what it is and what it stands for and all that good stuff. And we know its purpose now, because we knew it existed, but we never really knew its real purpose. But now we know it's to combat all the zombies and all that good stuff. So that's something that is also nice to hear. But then from there we go into our last black and white image, then it fades to color, and then a video. And as you guys can see, there's Drosin in the front, and one thing that is interesting is that you actually can see that Drosin has a book on the side of his leg, and this may be the book that we've been seeing scraps from in the past, and that's just cool to see. Also, another thing to note is really about all the characters except really Jefferson. All Jefferson did was put on a beanie, but all the other ones change up their clothes just to get ready for this winter map that they're going to be going to, and I think that's a really cool touch. You know, change up the clothes every now and then. I mean, I don't know if I want to do that in Treyarch Zombies because it's just so iconic, all the clothes that they wear, but this is cool to see what they're exactly doing here, so I do like it, and it's just cool to see that, you know, they're getting ready for the place they're going to go, so that's also pretty cool. But another thing to note is that if you guys remember from a lot of the other intro cutscenes and just when you're playing the map, when you would look at the characters, on their belt they would have a Geizkraft battery, and this is used for a ton of different things that I've already explained a million times in different videos, but of course this is just where they collect the Geizkraft and these batteries on their belts. But you can see they're still having them on their belt, and that wouldn't be something I would normally point out because obviously it's not something that special. But the reason I point it out, if you guys have watched the the trailer for this map, you can actually see the wall buys are completely different. They look like Treyarch wall buys now. They actually look like chalk drawings instead of something that's locked off with Geizkraft. So that is interesting, and I'm not exactly sure what to make of it because I don't know exactly why they're still using it, because it looked like they may not be using it anymore. But of course we're going to have to wait and see if this actually has any implications on the maps or exactly what's going to be going on here. Now the final thing that happened, actually not the final thing, there's one more thing after this, but I guess the main draw of this and what really surprised me more than anything is that when we saw not only our 4 normal characters, but then we saw the Mountaineer character, an unlockable character that's always been in the game ever since the Final Reich. And that is interesting because I don't know how that's going to work out, because obviously Zombies has always been a 4 co-op player, or 1 through 4 I should say, 1 through 4 players, but now you have a 5th person here and it's the Mountaineer. Now it does make sense why the Mountaineer would be with him, because it looks like they're in some mountain ranges, so that makes sense. But is this going to have any actual effects when you actually play the game, or is it just going to be something for this intro cutscene, or is he going to actually, you know, be a support character that's controlled like a bot or something like that? I would like to see them actually do something like that. Maybe he's actually just going to be your guide. Maybe you're going to be going through this mountain during the map and he's just going to be giving you guide tips and stuff like that, and that'd be something I'm completely for, which is something we've never seen before. But it'd be interesting to see at the very least. That's what I'm trying to say here. It's sometimes I get stuck on my words. But anyways, for the final thing, and even though that last one is pretty cool and probably the biggest thing from this out of all of them, but there is something that I completely missed here, and this is something I should have saw back when we actually got the trailer, this teaser at the very first time. Because the thing is that we saw the zombie standing here, he was looking at our characters walking there, and he looks back and all that good stuff. We've seen that all before. One thing I didn't miss, actually there's 2 things I missed. I didn't realize there were 5 characters down there. A lot of other people did, but I just thought they were hallucinating, but it looks like they were correct. But the main thing that I can't believe I can't believe I missed, can I speak please? But of course, is if you actually look at the shape of the auroras, they're actually in the shape of a skull. Now that is really, really cool, because if this actually means something for the story, then that means there's some really, really powerful things going on here, meaning that they are able to manipulate the auroras. That's just something that I find to be very, very cool. But anyways, that's about it for this intro cutscene. Tell me what you guys think about it. Honestly, I couldn't believe there was so much to talk about. I just realized that this was actually a pretty good video for once for an intro cutscene. But anyways, again, I would like to hear what you guys think about it. I think this is by far our coolest intro cutscene we've ever got. It just looks so cool, and the Mountaineer and the zombie and the auroras, it just looks so flipping cool. I really do like this intro cutscene more than anything we've ever seen in the past by far. It wasn't even close to a competition. But anyways, that's about it for me. If I did miss anything or anything like that, go ahead and tell me down in the comments also. But if you guys did enjoy the video and at least enjoyed it or found it entertaining, one of those two or maybe all of them, then go ahead and do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and especially bell. But I'm gonna go, and I will catch you guys on my next video or live stream.